Hello students, I hope you are all fine and in good health. In this audio presentation, I will be discussing note making with you all. Note making is a part of reading section, reading comprehension unseen section. So first of all, we have to know what exactly is note making all about. So dear students, let's start. Notes are short written record of facts to aid the memory. Normally, when we read a book or a magazine or article or during the time of recording a speech or writing a note in the class or during the time of dictation, we generally prefer note making. And if we know the art of note making, we can extract the important information while reading a book or a magazine or an article. And if we can execute the art of note making properly, then ultimately it helps us a lot. First and foremost, and the most important fact is that it helps in our memory. It aids the memory a lot. They are referred back whenever needed and may be reproduced in the desired way. Now, whenever we need any information, and if we know the art of note making, easily we can remember a particular information and we can easily reproduce the information whenever it is necessary for us. Now I am moving on to the next segment. Dear students, as you can see, it is written the necessity of note making. Now here I try to discuss some of the important points that are very much uh, related with the necessity of note making. So the first and foremost, it keeps a lot of information at our disposal for ready references. Now, obviously, if we know the art of note making, a lot of information can be stored and that can help us later for our ready reference. Next one, it helps us reconstruct what was said or written and thus accelerates the process of remembering or recall. Now, this is very important. Whatever was said or written, if we can frame it properly in the form of note making, then ultimately it will help us to remember certain information or to recall certain information in due course of time. Next important point, dear students, it comes in handy in delivering a speech, participation in a debate or a discussion, writing an essay, and revising lessons before an examination. Now, this is very important. If we know the art of note making and if we can tactfully write note making properly, if we can do note making properly, then ultimately, if we are about to deliver a speech before that, note making can be very helpful. So, suppose you are participating in a live debate contest or a discussion, note making can also play a very important role in that. Writing an essay, important points you want to remember. Note making, if you know the art of note making, obviously it will help in your writing of your essay. Or suppose you are about to remember the lessons before an examination. So in that case also, if you know how to do note making, it ultimately will help you a lot. Now, the next important segment I'm moving on, mechanics of note making. This is important. What are the mechanics we find in note making? Now, while making notes, we follow certain standard practices. These may be listed as follows. Now, what are the mechanics? Mechanics in case of note making. First and foremost, heading and subheadings. This is very important. Next one is related with abbreviations and symbols. So without abbreviations and symbols, note making practically has no value. Note form, the structure and the format of note making is very important. And last but not the least, numbering also. The numbering also plays a very important role in terms of note making. Now, heading and subheadings. Let us discuss this thing first. The heading reflects the main theme, whereas the subheadings point out how it has been developed. The heading actually reflects the main theme in case of a note making, and the subpoints or the subheadings actually points out how it has been it has taken a proper shape, how it has been developed. The selection of proper heading and subheading reveals the graphs of the passage by the students. If you can understand the passage properly, then you can give a proper heading and a subheading. Uh, a student who give a correct heading and a subheading, it reveals that that particular student had understood the passage very well. In the absence of proper assimilation of main ideas and subsidiary points, it is impossible to make notes. So there should be a proper assimilation of main ideas. Not only main ideas, proper assimilation of subpoints also. Without proper assimilation of main ideas and subpoints, it is impossible to make notes. That is something that is very important. So, in order to make a proper note, proper assimilation of main ideas and subsidiary points is necessary. Next one, abbreviations and symbols. They are used for precision, they are used for clarity, and obviously they are used for economy of words, and hence it is quite helpful in note making. And thus we can say abbreviations are quite helpful in case of note making. At least four recognizable abbreviations are to be used in note making in your board examination. So, for your board examination, four recognizable abbreviations are needed, or rather to say, are used. Now, what are the symbols and abbreviations that we can use? Now, universal symbols are there like and, therefore, because, that is, then percentage sign, 100, example. These are universal examples, or rather to say universal symbols. Mathematical symbols are there referred by greater than, less than, equal to, and all this. Now, while using abbreviations, you have to remember that abbreviations can be divided into three major groups. Number one, acronyms. Number two, contractions. And number three, short forms. Now, what are acronyms? Capital initial letters. They are actually acronyms. Contractions taking first few letters of the word, and short forms taking first few and last few letters. These are known as the short forms. Now, acronyms, capital initial letters, just like CBSC, it stands for Central Board of Secondary Education. CO, it stands for Commanding Officer. So if you can check out these abbreviations properly, it will help you. These are some of the examples like Chief Minister, CM. Then GPO, it is General Post Office. NCERT, it means the National Council of Educational Research and Training. Then PM, it stands for Prime Minister. SHO, Station House Officer. SP, Superintendent of Police. UK, United Kingdom. USA, United States of America. UNO, United Nations Organization. UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. And WHO, it stands for World Health Organization, as you all know. So these are the symbols and abbreviations. Symbols and abbreviations are a must in case of note making. Now I'm moving on to the next segment, note form. This is also very important. Now, while making notes, The whole information is listed in note form in points only. Remember, students, complete sentences are to be avoided. You should write it in proper points in the form of notes, note form in points. But complete sentences are to be avoided. Complete sentences are to be written in case of summary writing, but not in case of note making. Now, let me continue with this. Notes should not be written in complete sentences as we can't remember the whole information. So, only what can be done? The main points are to be listed, and point wise, the main points are to be written, and proper numbering is a must. It implies the logical division and subdivision of the listed information by using figures, letters, dashes, and spaces. These things are important. These things are technical aspect related with the note making. Figures, letters, dashes, spaces, etc. etc. Now, numbering. Proper numbering is a must in case of note making. First, write the title. The title will actually comprise the entire unanimous theme that is prevalent throughout the entire passage, because the title should be an overall representation of the entire passage. It should actually highlight the entire theme. It should actually comprise the entire theme related with the passage, and then write down the notes in a logical manner. After that, the notes are to be written in a logical manner. From the main headings to the subheadings, the numbering should be spaced a little to the right. Now, all these are related with the technical aspect. Okay, from the main headings to the subheadings, the numbering should be spaced a little to the right side. Now, the final part that I am about to say right now, how to write note making. What are the steps that we should follow? See, it is written, follow the following steps. Step number one. First of all, first and foremost, dear students, you all have to remember this. You all have to read the passage very carefully. Try to get the theme and subject of the passage. You have to ask in your own mind while you will read that what is the passage about. If you can understand the underlying theme of the passage, it becomes very, very easy, because ultimately, if we know the underlying theme of the passage, then obviously it will provide you with the main gist of the passage. Read carefully, identify the main ideas, and obviously the important supporting details. If you can identify the main ideas and the important supporting details, it becomes very easy. Make notes of the main ideas under headings and add subpoints under subheadings. So headings and subheadings are to be taken care of. Use proper layout. Proper layout is a must. Without proper layout, without proper formatting, without maintaining a proper sequence, without assembling of points, and without giving proper numbering, note making is incomplete. And obviously, if we don't give abbreviations and symbols at the appropriate places, then also note making has no value. So appropriate abbreviations wherever possible must be given. Appropriate symbols also wherever possible must be given. So dear students, that ends my audio presentation on note making. Later, I will be providing some more audio presentations on note making. Kindly go through this, and if there is any doubt anywhere, let me know about it. Thank you, students. Thank you all.